Hello and welcome to another I Draw You Watch. In this episode I am going to be drawing something for the YouTube channel where I do little minute long, 2 minute, 3 minute updates on the YouTube channel. I have got a new segment, what do you call it? A new, it's going to be a category I guess. It's a playlist where I just talk about nonsense. It's going to be for quick updates when I need to let people know about things, and it's more of a personal thing where you have to watch my face, which I know that's the downside of it, but the upside is that it's only a couple of minutes rather than these videos, which are very long. So I needed to draw something for that, so I'm going to draw that, and you're going to see me draw it. First thing I need to say is I have my new microphone and it looks impressive. It actually looks far too professional in here now. So, I'm thinking I can't really spout a load of nonsense like I usually do and talk about why the Bible's a load of bollocks and things like that. I need to come up with serious discussions and hypotheses and all that nonsense. I've even got a pop screen for it so that you can't hear me dribbling and things like you usually do. I don't know if it'll work because obviously I'm recording this now and I'll be listening back to it later before I upload it. Or will I? Does that sound like me? No. I'll probably be watching it back once it's uploaded and going, oh, that didn't work. Or, oh, yeah, that does sound quite nice. So I don't know if the popping screen will work. Pop, pop, pop. Does that work? Who knows? We'll find out. And the microphone I've got is a blue snowball, which sounds like a sexual position or some kind of sexual act which no one wants to get into. It's some kind of thing where you've you've gone blue because of and snowball because of white things. But it's not. It's a microphone. It's quite an expensive microphone, and I'm hoping it works and it sounds awesome. Because if it doesn't, I've paid out the money and for no reason. I'm sure it'll sound good. Tender hooks, you know me. So this image I've set up to the YouTube specifications for the thumbnail. I was going to talk about the image for a bit before I go on ranting about other nonsense. I've set up to YouTube layout size that they have, which is basically a horizontal landscape HD size picture. I think it's double because it's usually 120 by or 1220 by 720, and it's double that for new things. There's a massive explanation on YouTube. I didn't understand it. All I wanted to know was how many pixels wide, how many pixels high, and I had to read this massive bump from why stuff is modernising, so it needs to be double size and everything. I was just like, just tell me 2440 and 1440 or whatever it is, 2560. I have no idea. I can't remember. I'm talking nonsense. So anyway, that's the basic layer, and then I've just got the blank white background layer, and then the pencil layer on top. The basic image I wanted to have was as if I was like I do when I'm recording. Hold the camera stroke phone a few on arm's length basically from my face, and have the characters from the comic behind me pulling faces. So that was the idea behind it, so that's what I'm going to go for. Right, so that's the image. If anything comes up during the drawing phase that I specifically want to talk about, I'll probably cut to it, cut away from what I'm talking about and go on to that. But for the time being, I've had two of the usual suspects contact me to say that they are available in the near future for your audible delights, or not, who knows. So hopefully it will sound good, and not like me and Chris were talking inside a microphone that was stuffed in a sock, like we did during the most recent podcasts. Because everyone can just gather around this wonderful microphone. Although the popping screen only covers so much, so you might get some pops from someone. Anyway, the topics that I've got. Today's April Fool's Day when I'm recording this, the 1st of April, the day that the internet turns into a bunch of retards and they release a load of nonsense so that people think it's real and then get all excited. And the problem is now the internet has gone the other way. Like we don't believe anything anymore, especially on April Fool's Day. Like the most wonderful news, like they could say, PlayStation 4, IDOS have just announced they are going to do Project Eden 2. It's going to be fully 4-player, local and online co-op. Amazing graphics, like the graphics of a David Cage game. And it's going to be 72 hours long. And everyone's going to give it 10s. And we'd all go, nah, because April Fools. So there's been a few pranks going around online, like there usually is. There's some fun stuff like that people do. Like if you go on Google Maps right now, whether you've got it on your computer, tablet, phone, wherever you've got. If you go to Google Maps today, I don't know how long they're going to have it up for. So unless I put this up today, you might have missed out on it. But if you go to shut up, sorry, that was my phone. I have. What do you think that ringtone was? It's not a ringtone. It's my text tone, but it goes off every time. See if you can guess in the comments. The first person to get it right gets a mention at some point in the future, if I'm still alive to do it. Vague competition winners. So yeah, there's been some fun stuff. So if you go on Google Maps, they've hidden the Pokemon, all of the Pokemon in the world, literally in the world. They've hidden them in the world. So on the map, if you go to the CERN nuclear reactor in Switzerland, there is your Pokemon house. And then you can go search for your Pokemon. I think Kotaku are starting to do a guide for it. I'm sure there'll be a YouTube how to get 100% complete. Google Maps. I don't know how many people are going to do it all. I imagine there's going to be a few. There's going to be some, especially the mad Pokemon fans, like those people that get every version and know every Pokemon off by heart, 1 through. I only know like about 4. Pikachu, obviously, because it's in all the cartoons. Snorlax, which is the big fat one that's usually asleep. Squirtle and Bulbasaur. Pretty sure they're the only ones I know. Charmander. Listen, I don't know much, but I know a little bit about everything. That's the thing. I'm like a advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition bard. I know a little bit of everything, and a lot of nothing. So yeah, there's been some fun stuff like that, and then there's some also nonsense. Now I'm going to read 2 April Fool's things that have come out today. I'm going to read 2 news articles that have come out today. You tell me which one's the April Fool's joke. Frostbite. Frostbite have done a lot. They've tweeted a load of stuff saying that they've found a way to crack the Wii U and get brilliant graphics on it and stuff like that. They're really taking the piss out of the Wii U, which is a bit mean, but funny as well. The people who created Titanfall have come out with a trailer for a downloadable content where you can play as Optimus Prime. Well, you can have him as your Titan. So when you're calling your Titan, instead of saying Titan ready in 2 minutes, it says Prime ready in 2 minutes, but in Prime's voice. And then if that wasn't enough, in the actual trailer you see Prime actually land, and he picks up the soldier and puts him in his chest, and he runs around gunning, and he's running around with other Titans, and then at the very end of the trailer he says roll out and transforms into the truck and drives off. So is that fake, or is this fake? Steven Seagal loves Vladimir Putin and is thinking of becoming Russian. Now you tell me which one of those is the April Fool's joke, because I know which one you'd suspect. Actually, you probably wouldn't, because knowing clever internet folk, you'd know that the Titanfall one is done by a gaming company, and all the gaming companies are in on this April Fool's gag. They love a fake thing of a morning of the April Fools. So the Titanfall DLC obviously is fake, and apparently Steven Seagal really does like Vladimir Putin, the Butcher of Grozny. I mean, if you're a country and your president's name is the Butcher of Grozny, you should expect he's going to invade some countries from time to time, and piss people off and slag off the gays during an Olympic ceremony and stuff like that. He's a madman, but then Steven Seagal, a little bit mental too. Still got the ponytail, and he's what, 60 nearly. I mean, it's a little bit much. I think he still thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. Fat or thin, that man cannot act. I didn't do anything for April Fools. I never do. If I'm going to throw a prank, why do it on the day when everyone's expecting it? Think outside the box. Stripped is a documentary about comic strips. See? Where do you think I was going with that? Huh? Strippers? Naughty boob ladies? No, exactly. Stripped is a documentary made by, in part by Dave Kellett, who draws Sheldon at sheldon.com. And despite it being a wonderful strip in the vein of Calvin and Hobbes and Peanuts and Garfield and the old style newspaper strips, he has made this documentary because he wanted to say about how comics have evolved and going into webcomics, because there's still so many people that don't know about webcomics. Obviously the internet savvy people are up to date and up to speed on it, but more like the people of your parents' generation, maybe your grandparents' generation, who, did I say grandparents? Your grandparents' generation, totally different thing. Your grandparents' generation who loved, daily comics, the Sunday comics, the funny pages, however you say it in whatever part of the world you are. They may not know about webcomics and the way it's so easy to access so many comics now. Even the old comics are getting in on the act, and there's plenty of sites, even if they're not official, that provide you with links and daily strips of Peanuts, all the way through to modern stuff like Penny Arcade and PvP. And Snap Controller, of course, don't forget that, the best comic of them all. Not the best comic. I mean, I love my comic and I love the work that I'm doing, but there are many that I am in awe of, let alone come close to matching. But yeah, Strip documentary, it's out today, and he's trying to get it onto iTunes #1 so that it reaches a broader aspect and it's easier to get it, easier for it to apply to film festivals and stuff like that for the future. I haven't seen it yet because it's not available in Europe until the 2nd of April because of reasons, and it's not available on iTunes either, which, I mean, I've got about £27 in gift card money on my iTunes account, which, I bought movies. I've got loads of movies on my my iPod, and I've got thousands of songs. But I still always have this little well of money that, because I ask for, if people want to give me stuff at Christmas and birthdays and they don't like giving money, I always ask for an iTunes card. So I was hoping I'd be able to buy Stripped on there, but apparently it's not going to be available to Europe on that, so I'm going to have to do it the other way. That comic's coming together nicely. Got the whole pencils down by the look of it. There's a couple of moments here. I think when I was drawing this, I was also trying to corral my young nephew who was tearing around the living room. So there may be some moments where it pauses completely. And no, go for the plump hand. It's better. The plump, it look good. Yeah, that's better. Good. So yeah, there may be some moments where it pauses. But Strip film, I'm just all over the place. I need a list in front of me with, topics, and someone who slaps me around the face every 5 minutes to keep me on topic. It's hard when you're on your own and you're just talking into a TV screen with a big ball of microphoneness to your right. yeah, the strip film is. I haven't seen it yet, but I do. I can't wait to see it. It's just everything, all the passions that I have wrapped up into one documentary, and seeing people who haven't spoken in the media ever, like Bill Watterson, who draws Calvin and Hobbes, or drew Calvin and Hobbes, obviously. For me, you guys might not be as excited by it, but for me, that I mean, it's just an amazing thing that's really excited me. I should have a cough button handy. I really want to. I really want to see it, and hopefully in strip 2 I'll be in it. No, I don't think there'll be a sequel. The poster art as well was drawn by Watson. I really want to nab one of them posters if I can at some point. I'm hoping Dave comes over to Europe and does some kind of festival, i.e. or showing, i.e. A festival or a screening of the film where I can go and have a poster off of it. Yeah, anyway, what's next? What have I got on my list of things? My iPhone list of things. Oh, I want to talk about, there's a couple of games that have come out which I'll go into next. So for the people that are going to watch this entire thing, you can hear about the gaming, but there'll be some people that don't really give a shit about games, and don't really give a shit about me speaking, and are watching this for God knows what reason. No, there's I want to talk about Marvel and DC and their small screen appearances, especially their most recent ones, because there are two ongoing programs at the moment. One is in its first series, and the other one in America, I think, is just about to start on series 3, but series 2 is currently running here in sunny England. It is sunny today. It's balls hot for March. It's ridiculous. I know my first game of cricket is going to be pissing down with rain, and I'm going to wish it was this day again. We're getting it in March when we can't bleed and do anything with it because it's still cold. Yeah, so the two shows are obviously Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow, which chronicles the stories of Green Arrow from DC and JLA and all of those comics. Arrow is excellent, and it's doing gangbusters, and it's inspiring. It's influencing DC to make another series based on the Flash, and he has already appeared in the Arrow, or the guy who becomes Flash, and yeah, it's doing really well. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a little bit hit and miss. Some people like it, some people are putting up with it, some people think it's good. For me, I think Marvel has got a big enough universe that they could use a few more actual well-known Marvel characters. Not even well-known ones. You can make them well-known, but the problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me is that it started off with an entire group of people that no one knew and or cared about. Which is fine, because that's how a lot of TV shows start. You've got to introduce all the characters and this, that and the other. But the problem is, this is the Marvel Universe. So we know that in the Marvel Universe there lives Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, all of the X-Men, Deadpool, and thousands and thousands of others. Now, I know Spider-Man's owned by a different company, so they can't use any of the Spider-Man stuff. I know X-Men's owned by a different company, so they can't use any of the X-Men stuff. However, you've still got thousands, I mean literally thousands, of characters that you could choose from. You didn't have to choose someone massive, but you should have, from the offset, put in at least one superhero in your little Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the creation of, or created the Avengers Initiative, if the films are to be believed. They didn't get together on their own this time. They were brought together by Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. And for them not to have a unit set up with an agent, three agents, 2 scientists, and a hacker that they pulled in off the street because she looks nice. It's just bonkers, really. They could have used anyone. They could have had anyone. They could have picked a third string hero that only appears in smaller comics. There's so many people they could have chosen. I mean, I don't want them to choose Deadpool, obviously, because I want Deadpool to have his own movie, because he's much bigger than his status. So even in the Marvel universe, even in the comics, he's the best, funniest, most awesome character, and he's a blatant rip-off of Slade Wilson, who is in Arrow, funnily enough. But still, nonetheless, Marvel have done a better job of him over the years than DC have done with Deathstroke. However, what DC have done well is their TV, because Arrow has got characters coming out of his ears. It's got the Green Arrow for a start, which is one of the members of the JLA, which for a start is it's their Avengers. Okay, this is the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Martian Manhunter crowd. So I know Marvel have got aspirations to make every one of their characters a film each. They've got Doctor Strange has been in the works forever. Ant-Man's coming out soon. I'm sure there's loads of other. But Wasp. I mean, I'm sure Wasp will be in the Ant-Man movie, to be fair. But could have had Wasp in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. easily. If they're not going to have her in the original Avengers, even though she was, why not? But there are so many people like the Young Avengers. You could have had any one of the Young Avengers. You could have made this new girl any one of the Young Avengers. Start them off as their normal character and introduce it over time that she becomes, Agent X or whatever. But they didn't, and they keep introducing, Z-list villains, but they're not following up on any of them. It's all, bit part one shots. Hint, hint. Oh, you saw last week. He destroyed loads of stuff, didn't he? And then, oh no, New York. Remember that? Oh, let's clear up after him. But no one's actually. Even Miranda Hill. I mean, she's not that big an actress. You could have had Miranda Hill in the whole thing. At least then it would have been one name, a name that's actually synonymous with the cartoons. But it was all set up specifically to be. None of these characters are people you know before. They are a complete subset. They're a TV creation. They're nothing to do with the comics, and that's to the detriment, because I don't think it's as good as a show. It's definitely not as good as a show, and I am not enjoying it as much at all. Arrow, on the other hand, has got everyone in it all the time, and it's excellent. And I can't wait until they make the JLA movie, and everyone's all mentioned in all the same thing, because DC owns everything, and it's wonderful. But those are my thoughts on the two shows. I don't know if you've got any thoughts, or if you prefer either of the two shows. Let me know. If you do, you know where I am. I'm on here for a start. The comments section, as wonderful as it is a good place to leave messages, and or come and visit me on the Twitters, where I frequent. Okay, games. One game was wasn't announced, but it was showcased at EGX, and it is called Gang Beasts. Again, sounds sexual. Sounds awful, because it's sort of a cross between bestiality and gang rape. And I bet you didn't think you'd hear those two things on this podcast stroke video, did you? But it's not. It's nothing to do with either of them. It's basically if Morph got into a fight with three of his mates on a moving truck. It's hard to explain. It's like a 4-player local fighting game where you have to try and defeat your opponents by, like a Royal Rumble, throwing them out the ring over the top rope. Except it's not. I mean, one of the levels is a ring, but the other levels are, a window cleaning hoist. So you're miles up in the air, or a truck going along the motorway. So you're speeding along. So if you throw them off, they die. But the character models they literally look like Morph, like little. For people who don't know, Morph is. They're like a Play-Doh representation of a human-ish. However, having said that, the the motion capture that they've used is phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. This game is a PC game. Its backgrounds are basic; they're just blocks and boxes and everything else. But you can see the passion that's been spent on this motion capture. There are wrestling games where millions and millions and millions of pounds are spent every single week and month that don't even come close to getting this level of realism. I mean, it's as if two people are squabbling to try and get each other out or over this top rope or off the side of this building or whatever. It's just phenomenal. Like the back and forth, the way the momentum of their movement swings, the body controls. It's just amazing. It's free to play at the moment. It's like an alpha, and it is free to download. Just go to GangBeast's website and you'll see it. The studio are brand new, and they were developing another game, and they used this game to develop the motion capture and the punch dynamics and everything else. But they released the game because a couple of people saw it, and then they let a couple of people play it, and then a website in America started playing it, and then it just went viral from there. So they've released it free to play. They've updated it just to give it a little bit more polish. It's nothing. I'd go and play it if I was you. It's really, 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 really good. I don't play PC games at all, mainly because I've never had a PC to play PC games on since the early days. My last decent PC game that I had was Ripper on 6 CD-ROMs, which was a brilliant game. I need to look to see if I can download that a version that will play on this new laptop so that I can play it again, because it was fucking awesome. I loved Ripper. Christopher Walken acting like a prick for 6 hours. I mean, how can you not like that? It was magnificent. But I saw this game being played when I was watching a sort of rundown of EGX, and yeah, looks amazing. Something else that looks amazing: Metal Gear Solid 5. But it is true about how long the game lasts. I played the very first play of the game. I put it on normal difficulty, and I've not watched one trailer, not one gameplay thing all the way through. I'd seen the start of it and I'd seen the opening intro, but I let the opening intro play, and then I started playing the game as I would. I had no because the basic premise is you have to evacuate these two kids that are being held in this black site base, which is like a site off of American soil where they can interview and terrorize and torture and whatever they were, like Guantanamo Bay sort of thing. And I think it is meant to be Guantanamo Bay or a subset of it in Cuba. So I've got to find these two people. So I'm walking around, trying not to, be even seen. But when I come to a point, I try and not neutralize the guards that are walking around with the stun pistol, like the sleeping pistol dart things. Sleeping pistol dart things, new from Namco. No. So, and then hide the bodies and go real stealthy, like play it as properly as I can. And the hardest part of that entire game is finding the two people. And the first one is easy, like where it is, so you get there and he's there, and the other one's not. So then you've got to find the other one. If you've played loads of games, it's obvious where it is. It's in the massive fortified bit that's through an iron gate that you can't get through. But even following the clues, and there are clues, and I won't reveal how you get these clues or whatever, because it's kind of a cool concept. And it's something, it doesn't help. Like, this is one of the best things about the game, is that it doesn't hold your hand at all. It doesn't go, right, here's your clues, and then after half hour go, why don't you try that? Like any other game would. Like, there's some great puzzle games out there, but they they never let you, they never appreciate how intelligent gamers are. The ones I'm thinking of at the moment are the Hotel Dusk games and the Secret of Cape West. They are brilliant detective games, but I work something out and then I get told it 5 minutes later, and I'm like, why couldn't you just let me work it out and like then have a fail safe that if I'm a complete retard, you tell me after like 2 hours of walking around doing nothing. But it doesn't, and that's annoying. But Metal Gear does. It just lets you, if you work it out, you work it out. If you don't, then you'll find it eventually just by walking around this map that's not massive. But the hardest part is finding the person, and once you found them, like getting in, getting out, doing the mission, not so hard. So my first run through, not knowing anything, using the clues, making my way through, not knowing the map, took me 1 hour and 40 minutes. And that's watching the cutscenes. And the cutscenes I worked out are about 22 minutes. So you are looking at, without knowing anything, playing it on normal, 1 hour and 18 minutes for a £30 game. You can understand why people are pissed off. Now, what defenders of Metal Gear will say is that that's not the game. Because A, there's a bugger load of collectibles you've got to do, and B, there are 6 side missions as well, and they're separate. You don't do them alongside the main game. It's a different level select, if you like. But the level is always the same map. It's this same prison complex. So you know the prison complex. You know all the areas. You know all the people. You know the guards. You know where the hiding places are. You know where the routes are. You're not discovering anything new. So it's when people say it's one game and you can complete an hour and 40 and you ship it in, that's not quite true, because you have got these submissions, but they don't take very long. True, you can do everything. You can try and 100% it, find all the collectibles, do everything on hard, and also do the little side, the subplots, if you like, because one of them says you've got to eliminate 2 soldiers, but you can eliminate them by evacuating them, and if you do it that way it's harder, but also it gets your skill rating up, and then you can complete, like, you get a grade in for every map, so you get like S is the best for some reason. I don't know why. When did A plus stop becoming the best grade you can get? I don't know if it started, but I've seen it in Devil May Cry games as well. It's like, oh, D, that's not bad, that's pretty rubbish. C, oh, that's average, it's bad. B, oh, you're getting better. A, oh, yeah, A plus plus, yeah. S, what the fuck? So it was a bit weird. But so you can do all that, but it still seems like a hell of a lot to pay for a game like that. I think at a push, it's worth £15 downloading. I'm glad I rented it. That's all I can say. I mean, I paid £15 a month, and I had it for a week, and I didn't play it all that week either. But that's the game. I was going to say something else about it, and I can't remember what it was. It's pretty annoying because I think it was a good point, but it might not have been. Oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. After knowing what I wanted to do, I went back in to try and get an S grade, see how long it would take me to get an S grade. 17 minutes. 17. No cutscenes, knowing what you're doing. 17 minutes. I know someone's done a speed run at like 8 minutes, something like that, which is impressive. But just from my own reconnaissance even of scouting it out and everything else, I managed to do it in 17 minutes, and that's disgusting for what is essentially the main part of a game. So be wary if you're planning on getting it. At the moment I don't have anything else on my list for games. I am basically waiting on Titanfall now for the 360, which is apparently out on the 11th, but it depends whether they've sold enough Xbox One versions yet that they can go, oh, go on then, you can release it on that. I wanted to talk about Warren's face, but he's not quite gotten to it. That facial expression that I've got there for Warren is it's kind of like where you hang your jaw down, like kind of like a thing. I didn't quite get the protruding aspect of it, but I'm still quite happy with the outcome, because you can tell he's obviously trying to do something with his face, rather than the other two on the other side who are basically doing the old finger wagging, wavy hand thing with the poking the tongue out. And only comic characters can do the boss side, where you put your eyes and face in opposite directions. outwards. What else has happened in the world that I can talk about? Man United are playing Bayern today, so that will be an embarrassment. I've hidden all of my shoelaces and straight razors. The windows upstairs are now latched, so that I can't jump off the roof. So it should be alright. I should be alright. I should make it to tomorrow without, falling off a cliff because of whatever horrendous result awaits us. They've still not found the plane. Shocker. They won't find that plane. They'll never find it. I'm just looking at Sky News, and there's something about a kid that's been killed because a school walls collapsed. Probably not the source of humour that I'm after. I saw something on the social medias about a guy having sex with a pasty, and then he wanted to sue Greggs, because it was Greggs got it from. He wanted to sue them because at no point does it say you shouldn't put your cock in a pasty, especially after reheating it. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't need to be told to not put my cock in a pasty lest I get burnt. It baffles me how people can be so. I don't know if the story was made up and it was sort of a sensationalised thing, but it had quotation marks in it, and it was a paper. It wasn't just a like a social media thing like on The Onion or something like that. It was an actual newspaper page, and it was just like they had been taken a snapshot and someone had put it on Facebook, I think it was, and it just said, "I burnt my bell end by having sex with a pasty." And he says he does it all the time. He always buys a couple of steak bakes, or I don't know or cream and mushroom. It will be creamy, and he puts his penis in it. Just seems a bit mental. I don't quite understand. That people having sex with pastries. I know the whole American Pie thing, and then they said, but just going. I mean, he goes and gets himself. This was the thing that made me laugh. Was he got to the point? He got home because he didn't do it in Greggs. He bought the stuff and then he brought it home. And he got it home, and it wasn't warm enough anymore. So I decided to put it in the microwave. And we all know what we all know about the microwave is it cooks from the inside out. So what was warm to the touch on the pastry, that filling was like magma. It's hotter than the sun, as Alan Partridge would say. And he put his cock in it. I mean, you deserve what you get, didn't you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you this week. I hope you have been thoroughly entertained by my nonsense. Hopefully next week's one. And thank you for your suggestions with the what I should draw. I have done all three of them. I'm happy for the three, to be honest. I thought I wouldn't get any, which is why I did this one, because I thought I'm going to need to come up with something myself. But I needn't have worried. But thank you. I did all three in one go. I didn't colour them. It was just basically sketching with a little bit of humour on the side. So hopefully that will be next week's as an amalgam, and I will have a second voice sitting around this microphone to A, keep me focused, and B, create some more mirth that will get you back enjoying the ridiculousness that you've come to know and love. So until next week, this has been I Draw You Watch. I'm in Oakley. Go and check out snapcontroller.com. All the information's below. Leave a comment, share, like, and be merry. That's the worst outro ever. I'm going to come up with something better for next week.